This episode of Android Authority is brought to you by Atlassian. Build what's next. Did you know that Motorola was the first radio company to land on the moon? And that's just the beginning for this innovative company.
I'm going to step off the limb. It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We all heard Neil Armstrong's famous words when he became the first human being to step foot on the moon and said, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Well, Motorola was there to provide the radio transponder that was used to send those words to planet Earth. Motorola was founded in 1928, and it's not easy to stay alive in this industry for that long. Needless to say, Motorola is a historic tech company by now. You think Motorola is just following the crowd? Well, think again. Because they don't only make great phones, they are also one of the most important companies in mobile communications. Motorola invented the very first car radio in 1930, a device that was initially only meant for the police, in the USA at least, and later evolved into two-way communication systems. And now we're talking walkie-talkies. Fast forward 10 years, and two-way radios no longer had to be attached to a vehicle in order to operate. Mobile communications became untethered with the introduction of the SCR 300, the very first walkie-talkie. You've seen those huge backpacks soldiers from World War II were carrying, right? Well, that's it. That's the SCR 300. And by today's standards, it's not really a mobile device, but imagine the impact it had on the battlefield in the 1940s. Continuing its mobile innovation role, Motorola was the first to release a pager in 1956. They called it the Handy Talkie Radio Pager, and it was mostly used in hospitals to send messages within a range of 40 kilometers. And cell phones? Well, Motorola invented that as well. Samsung and Apple may currently rule the market, but when we think about innovation, it's Motorola right at the top. The company invented the very first cell phone. It was called the Dynatac 8000X and was launched in 1983. And what about the first cell phone call that was made? And there's a curious story to this. This was a call made by Motorola employee Martin Cooper in New York. He contacted, you guessed it, AT&T's Joel Engel. You know, just to let him know that the first cell phone call was being made, and it wasn't AT&T. What about the name Motorola? How did that come to be? Well, as we previously mentioned, Motorola's business began with car radios, and this is actually where the name came from. Moto obviously stands for its vehicular links, while Ola was simply a popular ending for names during that time. Before this, Motorola was known as the Galen Manufacturing Corporation. Do you remember this phone? It's the Motorola StarTAC. Your mom probably had one, and it was all the craze when it launched back in 1996. It was the lightest phone to hit the market at only 88 grams, and it also happens to be the very first clamshell cell phone to the market. I still kinda like it. You can also thank Motorola for mobile web browsing. The Motorola iDen i1000 Plus was the very first smartphone to incorporate mobile web browsing, as well as email and alphanumeric characters. Of course, it could only make calls, send messages, and send faxes. But arguably, Motorola's crowning achievement is that it produced one of the best-selling phones of all time. Motorola falls behind manufacturers like Nokia and Samsung when it comes to top-selling handsets, but it sure beats Apple's popular iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. The Motorola Razr was the king of the US market and continues to be the best-selling clamshell handset to date, with over 130 units sold. In comparison, the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus only managed to hit 100 million altogether. Unleash your team's potential with Atlassian's collaboration software so you can work and communicate better together. Assign, track, and manage tasks for any project, no matter how complex. That's the clarity of Jira. Create and share content, organize results, and bring team members up to speed. That's the flexibility of Confluence. Now, what I like about Atlassian the most is that it doesn't constrict me to communicating with my team in one way. If I don't want to chat it out in a chat box, I can go to video chat, and that is a good thing. That's Atlassian.com. Unleash the potential of your team. Build what's next.